Good day, panelists. Before we formally proceed to our presentation, allow us first to introduce ourselves. I am Mark Albert Air.
I am Miss Lauren.
And we are the researchers of the research titled Vocabulary, Content Knowledge, and Reading Comprehension Among Education Students.
Here are the overall contents of our study, which shall be tackled later on. Vocabulary is the foundation of language proficiency, which enables us to express ourselves clearly and effectively and understand written words. Several studies have proven that a wider range of vocabulary helps readers access the richer semantic resources, activate content knowledge, and integrate new knowledge with existing knowledge, thereby resulting to a better comprehension. In the context of education, learners are expected to possess sufficient vocabulary that is able to enrich their reading comprehension. However, problems with regard to vocabulary exist in the university. It is commonly observed that most of the students, particularly in the university, lacks vocabulary, which leads to poor reading comprehension. During this level, most of the teachers provide reading materials for students to study. Thus, problems concerning with vocabulary knowledge or reading comprehension further compromise their ability to grasp necessary concepts and in the learning materials.
Therefore, this study aims to assess the level of content knowledge on vocabulary and reading comprehension of the first-year education students across programs, recognizing existing challenges in these areas. By examining the relationships between vocabulary and reading comprehension, the research aims to shed light on this issue. Its beneficiaries include education students, instructors, the university community, and as well as the future researchers. The findings are expected to provide valuable insights into the content knowledge on vocabulary and reading comprehension of the first-year education students across programs of the university. This study is anchored on the theory of linguistic knowledge by Bachman and Palmer, which posits that linguistic knowledge is characterized by a deep understanding of semantics and vocabulary, forming a foundation for reading comprehension. This theory is apt as it involved administering tests to test takers for the purpose of measuring the extent of their language competence. Therefore, this theory utilized this study as we aim to assess the level of content knowledge on vocabulary and reading comprehension of the first-year education students across programs, students enrolled in Jose Rizal Memorial State University.
This slide represents the schema of the study. The inner circle represents the content knowledge of the first-year education students, while the outer circle was divided into two parts which was characterized by reading comprehension and linguistic knowledge, which is the field of content knowledge. Moreover, the expanding outer circle represents the vocabulary which belongs to linguistic knowledge.
This study seeks to determine the content knowledge on vocabulary and reading comprehension level among education students, particularly first-year education, taking education across programs at Jose Rizal Memorial State University main campus during the first semester of the academic year 2024-2025, employing a quantitative research method through a survey questionnaire. Specifically, it will determine the profiles in terms of age and program, the level of linguistic knowledge, the level of reading comprehension, and lastly, the relationship between linguistic knowledge and reading comprehension.
This study will employ a descriptive quantitative research method as this will help in attaining a precise, objective, and statistical analysis of data to be gathered in the study on the vocabulary content knowledge of the respondents in relation to their reading comprehension with the aid of questionnaires.
The study will utilize 188 respondents from the first year education students across the program for the first semester of the academic year 2024 to 2025 at Jose Rizal Memorial State University.
Problems pertaining to vocabulary have been commonly observed in the university, which hinders the learner's reading comprehension. The problem significantly affects the student's learning as this will lead to poor reading comprehension. Therefore, this study will be conducted to first-year education students across programs.
The instrument of this study is structured into 3 parts. In part 1, it will deal with respondents' profile. In part 2, it will measure the respondents' linguistic knowledge. And lastly, in part 3, it will assess the level of comprehension of the respondents.
Data gathering procedure. To gather significant data, an approval and informed consent will be obtained first from the 188 respondents. Data sessions are planned in collaboration with school authorities, and surveys are conducted in controlled environment and under standardized conditions. The data will be quantitatively analyzed using statistical tools. The findings are then reported and interpreted. Lastly, the results will be shared with stakeholders, including students, teachers, school administrators, and research findings will be considered.
Now let us proceed to the statistical tools. This study will employ frequency count and percentage to determine the profile of the respondents in terms of their age and program. Weight and mean will be used to describe the overall linguistic knowledge and reading comprehension performance of the respondents. And lastly, chi-square will be used to test whether or not there exist significant differences to linguistic knowledge and reading comprehension of the first-year education students across the program when analyzed in terms of their age and programs.